2007, a fresher software engineer in India used to earn somewhere around 3 to 4 lakhs LPA a year. In 2026, which is almost 19 years later, that number is somewhere touching 4.5 to 5 on a max side, right? In 19 years, the entry-level IT salary in this country has moved by less than 1% a year. Meanwhile, if you look at the revenues of India's top IT companies, they have almost doubled, right? The stock prices have compounded, promoter wealth has grown enormously. So if you are a fresh graduate or even 3, 4, 5 years into your career with this number of experience, and you are still chasing that IT dream service job, which every senior or your colleague or your family member has been telling you to chase, I think I would highly recommend you to watch the next 7 to 8 minutes of this video, because there are 5 roles which are growing inside the Indian economy right now at the moment that almost nobody in your college or in your community is telling you about it. And by the end of the video, you will know exactly what these roles are, what they are paying, and how to start for this role, right? So here's what is actually happening. So let me share a very recent NASSCOM's India IT Services report, and NASSCOM is National Association of Software Companies. So the most recent report released is that India's services IT sector grew its revenue by 6.1% last year, although the headcount grew by only 2.3%. Now that gap, that's where the story is. Companies are making more money with fewer people because the work that used to require a fresh graduate now requires an AI tool and one experienced person to supervise it. Now, on the similar line, if I again quote Niti Aayog's own roadmap, it's a government document, by the way. It's not something which is coming from a YouTube alarmist, right? Now, this government document from Niti Aayog, it lays out a scenario where IT services headcount could fall from 7.5 million in 2023 to almost 6 million by 2031. And that's a huge fall. And here is the part that most career videos which I have seen are missing. This is not because of the sentence AI is taking all the jobs. No, it's not that catastrophic. What actually is happening is something which NASSCOM itself has called bifurcations. The roles built on routine, repeatable work, that middle layer, most colleges are training most of the professionals who are going to hit the job market. That's where the pressure is. On the other side of that middle layer, 2 things are growing parallel, right? So there's one roles that require deep AI fluency. That is one which is going, and another layer is that the roles that combine AI with deep human judgment. This is growing, right? And this video is about that second category, the human judgment. AI complementing human judgment and growing. So the 5 roles which we are going to talk about today, we are going to unwind. It is all about the second category, and we are going to talk one by one. So role number 1 is AI Implementation Analyst, which is kind of inside most of the GCCs, which are Global Capability Centers. Now, if you haven't heard this term yet, you will hear it constantly over next few years from now. Now, these are in-house global offices that companies like Walmart, Goldman Sachs, and hundreds of others are setting up directly, not through outsourcing, but as their own teams. It's an extension. Now, in early 2026 alone, GCCs leased almost 9 million square feet of office space in India in different part of the cosmopolitan centers which are growing. And this is enormous. Quite expansion, which most job seekers are not paying attention to. I think this is where there's a space where I am trying to bring the attention. Now, the role is that you sit between a business problem which is existing and an AI tool. And you make the AI tool actually useful, or enabling the AI tool, right, useful for that specific business problem. You don't need to be a data scientist for this. You need to understand both the business context, the problem which is existing, and enough about the AI capability, the AI tool which is applicable to bridge the two. And for this role, the entry salary range is somewhere starting from 8 to 14 lakhs LPA, compared to the other one which we spoke when we started the video, 3.5, 4 lakhs, right, when we started. So this is one. Where to find for these kind of roles? I think most of the GCCs have their own pages, direct pages, right? Pages by the name of Target, JP Morgan, Walmart, Goldman Sachs, all have their India-specific GCC career pages. What you can do, you can go ahead, you can search with GCC analyst, not as a software developer, and you're going to get this. Now let's move to our second role. Now the second role is AI Output Reviewer, which is sometimes also called as AI Quality Auditor. Now here's the fact nobody mentioned, because as companies have started deploying AI agents to do the actual work, somebody has to check that work, right? Because somebody has to be accountable when the AI maybe if it gets wrong or incorrect. Now that accountability cannot be automated. It has to be human with human judgment. Now this role barely existed a few years ago, maybe 3 years, 4 years. It was not even known. It exists now, and it is speaking up, and it's growing at a very fast pace, especially in domains like finance, healthcare, legal adjacent functions, anywhere with regulatory risk. This is growing. Now, for this role, the entry range of salaries are starting from 6 lakhs, and it goes up to 12 lakhs, and LPAs maybe more, and it climbs fast with 2 to 3 years of experience because somebody is invested and has a strong conviction. I think very, very strong chance of growing in this because judgment requires compounding. Now, where to search for this? Search AI quality or AI governance analyst, not generic QA roles kind of. I mean, this is a different, newer category which is getting formed and is evolving. So for sure, you can look out for this as a category. Let's move to role number 3. Now, role number 3 is healthcare operations and insurance analyst. Now, this one surprises people. Now, while core IT services hiring is contracted, it is minimizing. Healthcare hiring grew 5%, and insurance hiring grew 7% in early 2026. Now, BPOs and ITES, which is business process roles, grew 21% year on year in January alone. Now, what is the reason? Why? Because these sectors are using AI to augment work. Augment work in terms of not replacing entire job categories. Just to quickly name an example, a claims analyst with AI tools processes more claims and also more accurately than they don't disappear and they become more valuable. Now, for this role, the entry range of salaries are starting from 5 to 6 lakhs LPAs. It goes to 10 to 12 and maybe a little more. With very strong growth into management within 4 to 5 years, because as experience gets added up, it counts and becomes more meaningful. Now, where to start for this? Don't dismiss BPOs and IT years as backward, right, and outdated. That stigma is 20 years old and outdated. So the hiring data says absolutely otherwise, right? So just keep a check on this as a space, and for sure there's a lot to come in this space. Then comes the role number 4. Now, role number 4 is a role which is prompt engineer and AI workflow specialist. Now, LinkedIn's own India Jobs on the Rise report, released very recently this year, ranks prompt engineer as the #1 fastest growing role in the country over the past 3 years, ahead of even AI engineer, ahead of even software engineer. Now, what does this role actually involve? Designing how AI tools are used inside a business workflow, not just typing clever questions into ChatGPT. It is more about structuring inputs, more about testing outputs, building repeatable systems, and that a whole team can use. So this again is a role which is of a prompt engineer and AI workflow specialist is picking up. The entry level salary ranges are from starting from 7 to 8 lakhs, goes to 15 to 16, some cases 80 lakhs, and this is one of the few entry level roles where strong portfolios work can outweigh even a weak college degree in case if you have a poor CGPAs or something like that. Now, for these kind of roles, where to start? And what is important is build 2 or 3 real workflow examples, not theory. Right? It has to be very practical centric. Document how you used AI to solve an actual problem, and with before and after impact and results, and that portfolio matters more than maybe a CGPA, which is greater on that side, right? For that matter. Then comes the next role and the last role, and this is the one which I want you to remember, right, the most. This is AI augmented domain specialist, right? In simple words, don't abandon what you already know, right? Layer AI fluency on top of it, right? And this is AI augmented domain analyst or specialist. Now, a finance graduate who can run an AI assisted financial analysis isn't competing with AI, right? They're not using it. And HR graduate who runs AI driven talent analytics becomes the person who makes the whole team faster. And this is not something which is on an autopilot mode. It happens gradually, right? And with the use of these tools. So this is not a career switch. This is also not a new degree or something. This is the fastest, lowest risk move available to almost anyone watching this video right now. So professionals who have done this are seeing a 20 to 40% paying premium over peers in the exact same role, simply because they are the ones the team can't function without, right? And they become indispensable for some time, and that's the importance they do carry. So this is what the role which is taking shape, evolving. Where to start is take whatever you are starting or already doing and ask what is that AI tool relevant to this specific field, and start learning that one tool deeply, not 10 tools or 12 tools, right, shallowly. Just focus on that one tool. I think that is going to give you that depth of knowledge and understanding, and help you to kind of sink into this as a role. So I a bit recently, I worked with a young professional, and this gentleman was a commerce graduate with no engineering background, and he was stuck applying to the same BPO and banking ops roles as everyone was doing in his batch. Now, some resume format was something which we started looking out for, and it was the same standard resume format, same generic line about having good communication skills, and so we didn't change her degree. We didn't told him to learn a new code. We repositioned him around AI assisted financial reporting. Now this was a skill on which he started building, and within 6 weeks, using free tools, he was very conversant. And then his resume went from commerce graduate seeking opportunities to commerce graduate who reduced reporting time by 60% using an AI assisted workflow. And this was an enhancement which was very clearly placed and presented, so that it is made very impactfully visible. Now, he didn't switch industries, he didn't got a new degree, he got noticed because he became a version of his own profile that companies are actually hiring for right now. And that's the entire idea behind everything I just said and mentioned. So the 5 roles I have shared are not about throwing away what you have already learned as a learning asset. They are about understanding where the real growth in India's job market actually is, what is visible, and how you can position yourself inside it deliberately before everyone else catching up. Because this space is very soon, going up and catching up and unfolding. So if even one of these 5 roles are something with which you felt some resonance, and you felt that it is relevant for you, I have put together a free AI-proof career checklist. It maps each of these 5 paths to the exact first skill to learn, and where to find it for free. Link is in the description, so it says no cost, no catch, and you can just grab it. And I want to know, out of the 5 roles I shared today, which one are you going to look into first? And tell me in the comment. I read every single one. And if there's a role you want a full deep dive video in, tell me. I'll make it for sure. If this video gave you clarity today, ensure that you are sharing it with at least one person in your network who is chasing a flat salary path everybody else who has told them to, and ensure that you are subscribing, ensure that you are liking, and see you in the next video.